Life Rhythms with Ryan Skyy. Observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. Welcome to Life Rhythms radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. As a DJ and a producer, I spend a lot of my time observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. I've been doing it in song form, and now I do it on my radio show. Each episode of Life Rhythms, we feature one song and one guest, and then I choose a personal growth topic around the song as a jumping off point. I'm excited for today. This is our finale episode of season 3, and we have Sultan and Shepard with us today, and we're going to be featuring their song, Making Time, which you heard a little snippet of it coming into this opening. We're going to be talking about a lot of things around this song, about the aftermath of breakups, about breaking up as friendships and kind of like what that looks like. I have some questions for Sultan and Shepard about their career. I want to talk to them about the evolution of their music, of their new album, kind of how they got their start in Canada. So many questions I'm excited to ask them for. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to dive into this with Sultan and Shepard. Welcome back to Life Rhythms radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got Osama and Ned from the electronic duo Sultan and Shepard. Hey, guys.
What's up?
Good to have you here.
Thank you for having us here.
We just heard a little snippet of your song, Making Time, which is off your new album, Forever Now. Yes. And so I want to dive into the topic. When I'm looking at the lyrics, like, there's so much to unpack with this song. When I was going through the lyrics, I see what at least what resonated for me is it feels kind of like the aftermath of a breakup. Like all the different things that can happen when a breakup happens. And it hit a little too close to home. I'm going through these lyrics and I'm like, damn, it hits a little too close to home for me because my last relationship was 2 years ago, and I still haven't, as much as I don't want to admit it, like I still haven't gotten over it. But I've tried as much as I can. But so I'm going through these lyrics, and it's talking about, like, since you've been gone, I've been spinning for months. So I'm getting like kind of like ruminating. Mm-hmm. Is that what you get from it?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to know a secret?
Yeah.
So Julia at church, who wrote these lyrics, when we talked to Julia about the song and we asked her what it meant for her and like where it came from, she said that it was about a friend.
Okay.
So it was really interesting because we also, like you, felt like it was a relationship thing, and we were, working on the song the whole time. And then after the song was done and the album came out, she's like, "Yeah, it was about a friend of mine."
Yeah.
And it was sort of interesting because it works both ways, but it gives it a different kind of a twist, I think.
Yeah, loss is loss.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And also friend, there's such a thing as a friend breakup, which is in a way like worse than
Is there a name for that? 'Cause someone actually asked me that the other day. They're like, what is it called when you break? Did you ask me that? Somebody was like, what is it called when you break up with a friend?
I
was like, unfriend. You unfriend each other.
I think it's really awkward because if you break up with your partner, like, there's a place for that in our society. If you say, I'm just going through a breakup, people understand. If you're like, I just broke up with a friend.
Yeah.
People are like, what? It's like, it's kind of more intense in a way.
That is, because it's not so carved out of a thing.
And there's no expectation. Like with relationships, I think sometimes there's an expectation that it might end. But friendships.
When was the last time you broke up with a friend, though?
But it happened to me twice in my life. Okay. It's painful. I think about it. It's more painful than most romantic breakups.
What do you think? Why is it more painful?
Because if you're going to break up with a friend, some real shit has had to happen.
That's true.
Which I guess could also be true for romantic relationships, but somehow it feels cuts a little deeper in a certain sense.
Yeah, and romantic, it's more clear.
Yeah.
It's more clear of like, oh, I don't feel this way anymore, or oh, we went through this and now we've grown apart. But with a friend, it's not so cut and dry.
Yeah, and if you end up having to break up with a friend or a friend breaks up with you,
oh, damn.
It's like that movie, The Banshees of Inisherin, the Oscar-nominated movie.
I just saw that last night.
I haven't seen it yet.
2 Irish guys, and one of them literally just decides he doesn't want to talk to his friend.
I'm done with you.
Really?
It's all about that, and it's really interesting because it's like
But that's different.
It's different context, but all the same emotions. Like that's the thing of the lyrics. When you look at the lyrics, all the same emotions are there. They're just different context.
Wow, it's so interesting. Yeah, like let's look at some of these lyrics. So, too many traces of you in every morning, but I'm used to the way you leave me to sink when I'm all in. So she's all in, but the friend isn't. But she's ruminating about this friend, and she sees him or her in the morning. But then it also says you're always making time for everybody else but me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But when you're fading, I'm the only one you need. So this friend only comes around when they need something.
Exactly.
That's
also very real.
Yeah. Also very relationship.
Yeah.
When you broke up with a friend, did you have a conversation with them or did you just kind of fade?
There was a series of conversations and then it kind of faded. Yeah.
Because I don't know that I've never really drew a boundary like that with somebody, but I have had people that I have consciously decided like we're in different places, we approach our life in different ways. I don't really want to spend time with this person anymore. I don't think it's.
But did they feel the same way?
I never told them.
Okay.
Yeah. I just kind of stopped initiating. You know?
Yeah, I don't actually know if I did actually tell the person, "Hey, I don't want to be friends with you anymore."
I kind of just decided.
Yeah.
I would never ghost somebody. I would never not reply.
Yeah.
But I also won't make plans just to be nice. If I'm, like for instance, I do have a friend I'm thinking of, and I don't think we're not lined up, and she's also pursuing music, and she reached out to me one time, and she wanted to collaborate with me, and I said no. I was honest. I was like, I need to see you pursuing. I need to see her put together a serious music project before I was like, it just doesn't make sense for us to collaborate. Right. I'm rooting for you. I was like, I'm rooting for you. I want you to do well, but I had to say no. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys you have a storied career. You've been doing this forever. I've been playing your remixes since I started DJing like 7 years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I imagine that as you guys have had success, you probably have people come out of the woodwork.
All the time.
Wanting to work with you.
All the time.
Yeah, people who didn't want to release tracks we did with them
like
5 years ago, then they're coming back being like, "Oh, hey, remember that song?"
Yeah.
Happens. Yeah.
What do you do? Not reply?
No, you reply.
Sometimes not. It depends. It depends on if they didn't reply to you. You know, it's sort of like
you just say you're busy.
Yeah, and also like
the thing
you
is,
say like you have a lot of stuff in the pipeline right now.
I mean, the truth is we do, and
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
not really a lie when you're saying that you're busy. You're trying to work on it. You're working on other stuff. But
yeah, and most of the people probably it wouldn't really fit anymore artistically, so it kind of naturally doesn't happen.
Yeah, and isn't that funny how people will ask, and it's like they don't see. They probably know it's not a match, but they're just hoping to get somewhere with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, like we're not doing the same kind of music, right? We're in different places.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't think they see it like that.
They don't.
No.
No, it's just like a numbers popularity game.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I call high school. It's like high school.
Oh, I mean, so much of this
Yeah.
industry feels like high school.
It's like
Wow.
as soon as you can, we were talking about graduating from high school, and like you get to that point in high school, or at the end of high school, at least that's how I felt, where you sort of realize all the things that you were worried about 3 or 4 years before, like, were pretty useless.
Yeah.
But it's ironic because by the time you get to that point, it's over anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird thing where you're like, oh, dang, I wish I could have felt like this 3 years ago when I was in the thick of it.
Yeah.
By the time it's over, you're like, oh, it doesn't really matter anyway.
And it's weird to see people who were super popular in high school and they just go on different paths. Mm-hmm. I also feel, because high school, you guys both go to school in the States? Or you're from Canada?
I went to
Or you went to school in Canada?
I went to high school in Egypt.
Okay.
He went to high school
I went to high school in New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
And you guys met in Montreal. Yeah. And well, out here, I'm not sure what the schooling is like in Canada, but here in the States, like it's designed still for the labor market, to prepare people for the labor market.
Here?
Yeah.
That was your experience of high school?
No, it is.
Oh.
It is. Like the way there's been a lot of studies on it. There's a lot of pushback on our education system in America because it was designed to prepare people for the labor market, and it never really has changed.
Huh.
You know, we learn like math and science. We take like a home ec class. Like you take like a shop class. I mean, you're learning like trade stuff. It hasn't changed in ever. Decades and decades. It's been like that. And then you go to college, and then you can get into more of like the liberal arts. And I feel like because you both went to college, it's the same college, McGill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Right.
you guys went to McGill. Did you feel like McGill taught you how to learn? You know?
We had very different McGill experience.
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Was
was
that why you can tell them about yours?
I did mechanical engineering and a master's in robotics,
Wow.
and he did religious studies.
Yeah, I felt that way. I felt McGill taught me how to.
You did religious studies.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
so
that
interesting.
McGill taught me how to think. But
Not me.
it taught you how to think in a certain way.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Very different.
it was
type of
very
thinking.
like
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like problem
problem solving.
solving
Everything has a solution.
And
And
was yours more philosophical?
completely.
Sure.
I love that.
Yeah, but that's also why we work well together because I'll just be like asking I'll ask 10 questions and then he'll just we'll pick a direction and then he'll get into the nitty gritty of how we get there.
So you're Osama. You're the nuts and bolts, and Ned, you're more of the big picture.
Sort of, not in the actual way that we produce music.
Yeah.
But because we both do both of those things, but maybe just I don't know. Do you feel that way?
No. I don't know. It's confusing. I would say more
in our approach,
yeah,
not in our actual.
not our actual roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our approach.
Yeah. I'll do the mixing and engineering.
Yeah.
He'll do the
I do it's weird. I do a lot of
editing.
nuts and bolts editing
Yeah.
and processing stuff. We definitely take turns in front of a computer,
Okay.
so it's not like one of us is more technical than the other.
Yeah.
We both play instruments, so we both do both things, but I think our approach to both of those things is different.
Okay.
He's more of a
Ned will come with a million different, let's say, chord progressions, and I'll be the one that's we're going with this one.
yeah.
Is one of you more business than the other?
It used to be him, but now no.
Yeah. What?
No. I think we learned the business when we started. He was what? You're 3.5 years older than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 4 years older than me. So when we first released our first record, I was 22. So I was pretty young. So he had already been releasing some records. So I think I followed his lead business-wise. But then when we combined the project into Sultan Shepard and then we were kind of reaching another level of things and decisions to make, we started, and I was a
Yeah.
little bit older, we started making decisions together.
Osama, you were signed, right? You were signed to Chug Records,
Yeah, that was my first record.
and then Ned, you gave him a demo
Yeah,
of some music that you made,
correct.
Yeah.
and then the next day you guys started working together.
No, the next day I called him up,
The next day you called him.
Yeah, and then I came over.
and then you came over.
Yeah, we didn't start working together for maybe 3 months.
Okay.
So it was just a friendship where we would just play each other music and hang out, and then
Oh.
it was sort of by that time it was kind of, well, why don't we just try something?
Yeah. How did you approach Osama?
He was playing. He was one of the only DJs in Montreal playing progressive music. So everybody in Montreal was playing house and techno,
Okay.
and he was opening for Nick Warren and Lee Burge and Deep Dish and all these cool people. And so I saw him DJ, and I was like, I like this music. And so he was playing with Max Graham at a small club, and I just went up and was like, hey, I made this song. I really liked your sets. Check it out.
So he was working, and you interrupted him.
No, it was after he was
Oh,
done.
it was after?
Yeah. I thought more people would be interested in if people that at the time weren't in Montreal weren't really that into that sound. So he was very approachable.
This
He was
was
a very friendly guy.
beginnings of internet. era.
Yeah.
He gave me a CD
Yeah, I gave him
Yeah.
a CD.
With a phone
That's how you
number.
had to. Yeah.
I had to call him on his home phone, home line.
Did it have a cord?
It did.
Yeah, I had a cord.
It has a corded phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kind that stretches and you like.
It
you
did
like
have
go on the-
caller ID. I was
Mhm.
sleeping. He woke me up. I was like, hello. And he was like, hey, this is Sultan.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very funny. And then we just became, and he lived right next to McGill. So I would just like pop over. I was still in school. I was in my second year. So I would just pop over after class and like, he'd be working on stuff and I'd play him when I was working on. We just,
It was a vibe thing.
Yeah.
Like I used to get CDs from other people, but I never like called anybody.
Yeah.
But when Ned approached me, I was like, this guy's cool.
It doesn't always work out. I'm thinking of a personal story that is super cringy, something I did. When I first moved to New York, when I first started my career, I was in New York and I was like, I gotta break in, so I'm like mortified. I was in a club and there was a music artist there that I looked up to and he was in VIP and I was like determined to get into VIP and talk to him. And so I don't know how, but somehow we got into VIP. I got past like the security guard and I went up to him in the club and he was so nice and I like made him listen to a song of mine, like in the club.
You had headphones with you?
I had headphones.
Wow.
And it was the cringiest song. And he was so kind and he did. And he listened. I mean, he probably couldn't even hear it. He's like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, send me an email or something like that,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was clueless. But when I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking? The type of music he does is like super campy music. And it's a whole thing and it works well for him. But I don't even do that kind of music. I do like pop, dance,
Yeah.
crossover. We're not even in the same worlds. Like, it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about people being kind of clueless about and I definitely was like that in the past, wanting to collaborate with people where it just did not make any sense.
Right.
I hope he forgot about that incident. 'Cause,
Probably. I wouldn't worry about it.
probably, yeah. I mean, I learned from it. I was like, oh, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like it wasn't, I think when we met, it was such a small scene when we met too. And I wasn't really trying to secretly I was probably trying to work with him, but I was also just trying to meet other people who.
But you had another project going on too.
Yeah, another project going, and like even for the first 4 years that we knew each other, it wasn't like we only worked together. We were doing other things too.
Yeah.
I think it started to become obvious though that we liked working with each other more than we liked working with other people. It's like dating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So let's go back to the song, Making Time. We talked a little bit about it applying to friendship, but both of your takes was that you thought maybe it was about a relationship.
Totally.
Yep.
Could you guys relate at all to any of this?
I feel like I could relate to it when I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been
I've been married for 4 years now.
you married for 4 years.
So kind of past.
You're lucky. You are lucky that you're past all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to be in your position right now.
I think also like you live enough relationships. You've been in enough relationships to be able to relate to it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't think you have to be going through
Sure.
that. Sometimes there's a song that comes up and you're just like, oh, this is like
Yeah.
right now. But
Yeah.
more often than not, I think that's actually pretty rare for that to really happen. For you
Yeah.
to be like, this is exactly what's going on in my life. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, the person who I'm sitting in the room with who wrote this track like knew what was going on. Mostly it's like, they're pulling from things in their life and people they know. And it just all kind of, as long as it makes sense to us as something that we can relate to at some point in our life, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be like right now.
Yeah, because for us, it's more about, since, let's say we didn't write the lyrics, but we get the lyrics and we have to kind of get the emotion out of it musically.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something that relates to something that we've been through or we feel what the person's going through.
Yeah.
And we're setting the tone too with the music, right? Yeah. So it's sort of like that song could go many different directions. The lyrics are the lyrics and the melody is the melody, but depending on what chords and textures you put around it, we gave it kind of, it's a little sad, but it's also a little bit of hopefulness in there, I think.
Yeah.
At least that's what we tried to do. Yeah. I don't know if you got that. Maybe you just got all the sad.
Well, okay, what I got on it was, it seemed like she's holding on. It seems like she's holding on, the other person isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, the lyrics are sad for sure. The lyrics are kind of like, I think we tried to balance it a bit with the music in that sense, because we didn't want it to just be like a total bummer.
Like a gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it is gut-wrenching. I mean, Julia's voice is amazing, and like, so we were like, okay, she's got that angle covered. So we like to try to figure out what other complexity can we add to this emotion? Because I think sometimes it's cool when, sometimes you have different feelings about breakups. They're kind of bittersweet, or they're like really rough, but there's other things in your life that are going well. So it's like your life isn't just like all doom and gloom. Sometimes, It's like, you're like, oh, this was going really well, but then this was happening. And so most of the time our life is like a mixture of things.
Most of the time it is.
Yeah. So we try to.
Yeah. When you mention hope, it reminds me of a quote. I always write a quote for every episode. And the quote I wrote for this one, I wrote it with the understanding of it being a relationship, but I'm going to read it to you. I'm curious you guys' take on it, but it does deal with hope, but maybe not in the way that you're expecting. All right, so this is the quote I wrote. A one-sided breakup where there's a feeling of unfinished business is often the hardest to move on from. Science indicates that the brain must kill all hope of the idea of getting back together in order to fully move on. If there's even a sliver of hope, the brain is unable to let go. So for those of you out there struggling with a breakup who truly want to get to the other side of the heartbreak, my advice is to focus on killing all hope you have with this person. Pretend they're dead. Focus on the reasons you were incompatible, and you'll eventually find one day you wake up and you don't think about them anymore.
Painful.
It's true, though. I mean, it's really like the only way, because the brain is not capable of letting go and moving on unless it's not holding on to any hope of getting back together with this person.
Right, but what if this person came back to you 10 years later and made contact?
Classic scene, man.
Right.
Classic
What would
scene
happen?
Classic scene when you've let. It's like, isn't that like the thing that always happens? Like the day you decide to get over it, then all of a sudden,
yes, I had that happen to me like 2 weeks ago, and it keeps me from. Makes it harder to move on, because I didn't. They reached out to me and I was friendly, but I also didn't pursue it. Like I wasn't like, oh, we should get together. I didn't try to meet up with them because I knew, just don't go there. It didn't work out. It's not going to work out. But then I'm like, man, why did they text me? Why?
Yeah.
So you didn't really actually let go of the hope.
I haven't fully let go. So this is my advice for people, and I need to take my own advice. And I'm trying. Like, I'm really trying. I'm like, but I haven't been able to shake it yet. And the main reason is because there's the way things ended. There's a sense of unfinished business. So I never got like a closure that I could just like hold on to and be like, it's closed, it ended. Right. And it's making it hard for me. So when I read these lyrics, I was like, damn, because the lyrics are about like seeing them everywhere and thinking about them, and kind of like one person's holding on, the other one isn't,
For sure.
But it's never usually like a clean break. Usually always one person wants it more.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because my girlfriend, when she listened to this album, she didn't listen to any of the music until it was out. She was
okay.
Like, I didn't play her any of the songs. And then the day it came out, she like sat and listened to the whole thing, and then she was like, "Is this like a breakup album or what?" And I was like, "Not supposed to be."
Oh.
But yeah, I think tracks like this definitely feel like that. And I think also what's great, like a really good songwriter like Julia is able to do, is take one situation for her and find a way to write it in a way that makes it feel like people can relate to it on like multiple different levels. I mean, it's always a good, because a song, when you're writing a song, like, you're writing about something specific, but you don't know, she doesn't know your life. She doesn't,
right.
So it's like she can only write it from her thing and then hope that it's just true enough that it resonates. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a quote about like the more specific you get in a story, the more relatable it is. And I kind of feel like it's that with songs. The more details you can get into a song, the people don't have to
Totally.
experience every single detail, but it's like it just makes it more vivid.
I think that's so.
It makes it much better song.
Yeah. I agree.
It's funny to me, even like rap, hip hop music, like how many people listen to that can't relate to the situations they're talking about, and yet they feel so connected.
But that's the thing. They don't relate to the specifics, but they can relate to other things about it.
Maybe like the attitude or the perspective.
Well, like it's like you can relate to, like, let's say someone's talking about, I don't know, take like a song that I grew up with, like Biggie, Juicy, right?
Yeah.
So not my experience growing up at all, right? But there's aspects of that you can relate to, or that you can understand, about nobody believing in you, about something going from nothing to something, like different little parts of it here and there that you like are like, yeah, I like, even though the context is totally different, nothing to do with what he went through, you can make that relationship. So I think as a listener, if the song is really good, if they're really, really good at what they're doing, then it could cut through like all the different kinds of things.
So we're at the end of segment 1. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk more about this topic, and I want to talk about your music too.
Sounds
all
good.
right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got Sultan Shepard with me. So we were just talking about, if we break up, that sometimes when we break up, we can be friends afterwards. And there's some people, I'm on good terms with everyone I've dated, but I'm not friends with everybody I've dated.
Right.
And for me, it's like, there's kind of like a switch that goes off that I can be your friend. And I'm like, and really it's just that I don't have any desire to ever
be with them again?
Date you again. Yeah. But I don't have that with everyone.
But is it only with the ones that you've broken up with?
Ooh.
Which one of us?
Ooh.
Yeah.
One yes and one no. But the one that broke up with me, I see how incompatible we were, and I just don't ever want to go back. The other one I broke up, and so when you break up, isn't that interesting how like when you're done, you're done. Like it just all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're just like, nope, I don't want this anymore. Have you guys felt that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
And you're making music. So when someone's dating you, it's almost like they have to sign up for knowing that you might draw from personal experience in your art.
Yeah, luckily we're not singers. Or like luckily the parts that we contribute the most to are abstract.
Yeah.
Like, honey, I didn't write the lyrics.
Exactly.
Yes. I just did the music.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, that's not. It's like,
yeah.
It's not really a worry with us. I think if you were dating a songwriters are the worst.
Yeah.
They pull from everywhere, from their friends.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're friends with a songwriter, watch out. They probably wrote like 5 songs about you.
Yeah. If you have a radio show and a podcast, it's very difficult to not talk about,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I'm probably going to talk about you on my show. That's why people listen. You kind of like have to sign up for it,
Yeah.
And
we don't have that problem.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you think all singers and songwriters are crazy.
I don't think that. Why are you throwing me under the bus like that? I'm just saying the things that make a singer and a songwriter great are qualities that they're super vulnerable and emotional, and they don't like put a wall up on that stuff.
They just access it?
They access it super quickly, which is something that I'm in awe of all the time.
Do you ruminate? Does your mind still ruminate about things?
Yeah.
I was looking up about this, ruminating. This was interesting to me. The mind ruminating has the same mental makeup as OCD. It has the same chemical imbalance. So there's changes in the neurochemical serotonin as well as dopamine and glutamate. So the same processes that cause OCD can trigger rumination.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
For sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. So do you guys ruminate? No?
Yeah. I tend to ruminate more on things that didn't really happen.
Okay.
I ruminate less on like a relationship, something that like if I was in a relationship with somebody for 6 months or a year, I don't really ruminate on it.
Okay.
I got to know the person, and it's clear why, whatever. I ruminate on things that were like maybe never even happened. It's just like one date or like just a conversation. I think things that are more allow me to sort of create.
Are you like replaying what?
I think it's actually more that it allows me a lot of creativity to imagine what something would be like or what somebody would be like. That I will spend, not on purpose, but I think I noticed that I will spend more time on that.
As creatives, do you kind of find yourself in like a dream state during the day? I do. I kind of feel like I'm in this dreamy state. I'm always like thinking about things and dreaming, and
when we're in like super creative zone,
just like throughout the day.
Yeah, maybe when we're away from the studio.
When you're away?
Yeah, totally. Actually, when I come home from the studio and we've been working all day, I'm for sure
like daydreaming.
Yeah,
but also like just constantly playing music in our heads, and kind of just drifting.
Like stuff that you're already working on, or
just mix of all kinds of stuff. Catch myself like singing all random melodies in my head.
Do you dream ideas?
I don't dream at all.
You don't dream at all?
No.
Really?
Yeah, rarely. Like super rarely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you ever, and then it stopped, or you just never did?
I used to dream more when I was younger. I used to dream up actually some music ideas 10 years ago. More than that, 15 years ago. Remember when I did that mashup with the deep dish thing?
Oh, that was a dream, huh?
That was a dream. I woke up singing a Dire Straits lead guitar lick on top of a deep dish song.
Okay.
And I mashed them together and then gave it to them, and then they officially released it.
Wow.
Yeah. Super random.
Yeah. Ned, do you dream?
All the time.
All the time.
I lucid dream sometimes.
Oh, you do?
I fly sometimes.
I wish I could do that.
I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, dreaming is very vivid dreams.
The trick is to not drink coffee, according to Ned.
I don't drink coffee, so I'm a deep sleeper.
Yeah.
I drink a shitload of
So
caffeine.
do I.
I'm always drinking caffeine.
Yeah.
You do too?
Yeah. all
Maybe
the time.
maybe that's why. I don't dream that much. But when I do, I remember my dreams. Actually, I didn't dream for a while, and then I started taking supplements, like for my health.
Mhm.
And when I started taking supplements, I started dreaming again.
Do you take melatonin?
I don't.
Oh,
I-
that'll make you dream big.
I take magnesium and L-theanine and all kinds of stuff. Choline.
What's that?
Choline. It's like food for the brain. The brain uses it to build itself.
Okay.
It creates like gray matter and stuff. Yeah. I know it's like nerdy stuff.
Nice.
I want to talk to you guys about your music because I've been following you since I started 7 years ago, and your music has really evolved over the years. Like I play a lot of gay clubs, and particularly your "It's Not Right But It's Okay" remix. It's like
unofficial.
Unofficial is right.
it's a classic though. Did you know that would be a classic in the gay community?
No
It's
idea.
Whitney.
For sure, but
Sure.
the gay community was the first group of people, I should say, that really got behind us.
Mhm.
Okay.
When we first started
In
playing
Montreal.
in Montreal and Stereo, and which was a
Stereo.
gay club. I mean, it was mixed, but it was known as a gay club. And like, even on the radio, like just fans, like it felt like that was the first community that really embraced us. So,
What do you think it is? Why do we embrace you?
well, first of all, when we started making music, electronic music came from, gay clubs in New York in the 80s, right? So like,
Yeah.
at the time that we were doing it in the early 2000s, it hadn't moved that much further away from that. It was pre like this explosion of EDM and stuff like that. So I think it was still very much rooted in that world. So there's that. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, we had a style of mixing pop vocals with dancey things.
For me, it was the energy.
Yeah.
Yep.
The energy, the drops were like perfect. I still play your Bruno Mars "Locked Out of Heaven" remix. It still
works.
works.
It's great.
People just sing their faces off, and I
Right.
think it's any of those kind of belting
Mhm.
songs. People love to sing along,
Yeah.
but the drop on that is so big.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So I want to know about your evolution of your music because now what you're doing, the music's very different.
Yeah.
When did that transition start to happen?
Well, it's interesting because when we were started in this very deep progressive kind of music in like 2004 or 5, that kind of era. And then we kind of moved over slowly up and starting like 2010, 11 into the more poppy commercial things.
Okay.
And then I would say that we got kind of ran out of juice there. We just stopped being inspired and felt kind of just like we had that had run its course. Probably 2018.
It was right before COVID hit.
Yeah, but when did we really start feeling like we were over that?
Yeah, 18.
2018-ish. I think we just started realize like
we had like a big peak from 13 to say 17.
Okay.
Or like 10 to 16. Yeah,
10
like that.
Yeah, but the whole EDM wave, we kind of just
were
part of that.
And then it kind of crashed, and we just sort of felt like we had sort of lost ourselves musically.
Okay.
And then even though we were successful,
Yeah, you were nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, and a couple of Junos, and like like streaming. From the outside we were successful, but I think personally we were not. We were pretty lost creatively, musically, and I think the end of 2018 we stopped doing gigs. We split from our label at the time, and then we were inspired by the melodic house stuff that was starting to be made then with Lane 8 and Yoto and some of those guys, and
kind of felt like we were going back to what we originally
exactly. We heard something in it that was like, this is like the music we used to make, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So we started making that kind of music, and then we connected with Dan Lane 8, and he was really great, and so that just kind of became. We didn't think this was going to be we didn't really know. We were just like, oh, let's try doing this for a bit, and then it just sort of realized it was almost like everybody else was like, people came out of the woodwork being like, this, we've been waiting for you guys to do this for like the last 10 years. So
you started getting signals from people to go down this path.
To keep going down. Once we released our first EP on This Never Happened. And then we were like, oh, wait. Yeah, this makes sense. So that we just like kept going. And now we were just like, God, I can't believe we were ever doing anything different. That's kind of crazy.
We were like chasing trends until we realized we just want to do what we want to do. And
and also what you're good. I think it's maybe the hardest thing as an artist to really find the thing that you're unique at.
Okay.
Because if you can do different things, if you're able to produce different styles or do different, if you have an eclectic taste, then sometimes you spend a lot of time trying to figure out what it is that you like or where you fit. But audience will always eventually kind of tell you where that is. And that's always the thing that you're unique at that. And I think we started off in that place, then we probably did like a huge roundabout, and then I think we kind of came back to that sort of place of this very melodic, emotional.
Were you following? Was it following work that was coming in that kind of led you down the other path?
Yeah,
because like for me, that happened to me too, and I consciously made a decision of like, I'm no longer gonna ever remix a record unless I'm really into the record. I'm not gonna do it just for the paycheck.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna put something out unless I'm really into it.
Yeah, we did that too.
You had to do that too.
Yeah, but we did the other thing a lot first.
Yeah, a lot.
We had to just be like, we said yes to everything forever. And then eventually we were like, now we're like totally lost. We didn't even know, like, we could still make tons of music, but we just didn't know. It was like, you don't know what's good anymore because you're not making it from that good place. So once we stopped that, then we were able to sort of reconnect with that. And Lane 8 was a big part of that because he was sort of just like, yeah, this is really dope. You guys need to be doing more of this.
Were you nervous that you were going to kind of galvanize your fans, that they were expecting something else and you made such a drastic shift?
No, because as much as we had fans, we didn't know who our true fans were.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's true. I see that.
And then now we know who our true fans are, and we know what they want, and we know what we like to provide and make. It's a totally different ballgame.
So you feel more connected?
So much more.
Yeah.
So much more.
Way more. It's like what you have to offer people.
Yeah.
People can get music and get emotions and feelings and vibes from so many different kinds of artists. Everything is out there now, right? But if they're coming to us, they want something specific. And we realize, hey, we can actually do this. This is what we can do.
We also realize, since we've been doing this for 20 years, that we can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, but not in a unique way. We can do something else, but it'll sound like, we can make a track that sounds like, Dom Dollar, or we can make a track that sounds like whatever. But it's sounding like somebody else.
Yeah.
And that version is better than what we could do.
Yeah.
So then,
versus finding our own thing.
Unique thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. If we were to ask AI to make a Sultan and Shepard record, what do you think it would create?
Now I'd say melodic house. I think we have enough of a catalog.
I don't know. AI is weird, man. might make a track. It might just pull the Bruno Mars remix and be like, "This is Sultan Shepard."
Maybe.
But the Bruno Mars also is melodic. Like
Yeah,
everything
come
we've
on,
done
but
has something melodic in it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, always did. It always did. But that's the thing is that I think we didn't. It would probably take a while for I don't know if AI would be able to understand the scope of that.
Yeah, probably not.
Because there's so many different phases of our career.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, no, you're right. I think what we failed to notice too in our careers is that although we've changed styles, we're still like, people don't look at us as like, oh my God, they changed styles so drastically.
Yeah.
Like it was always something that kind of related to what we're doing now.
It's also more about the brand too. Like you have such a strong brand that you really could do anything. And there's other artists like that, like Tiesto started out doing trance. He doesn't do trance anymore.
No.
David Guetta's still doing a lot, but they put out a wide range of music. But it's more because the brand is so strong, and you guys have such a strong brand now. I could see why it would be easy.
Yeah, but I think we're actually only interested in doing kind of
what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's it.
we're kind of like we did all the other stuff, and
Yeah.
What about when you play live? Are you playing this style live?
yeah, we're not playing the Bruno Mars remix.
You're not turning it up too much.
I mean, we do it in our own way, but I think it's what we also realize that people are coming to our shows to feel emotional.
It's an emotional journey. It's
Yeah.
not like hands up in the air, let's go jumping and go crazy. I mean, there are those moments,
Yeah.
but people like will come out and like cry or
People wanna
have
come
an
to cry.
experience.
That's much
or-
better.
It is much better. It's
so
also
much
where we
better.
started. Like when we were going to clubs, it was about feeling things.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, you stay up all night, and blah, 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 but it was like, it was the feelings and the music that we got interested in, which is pretty
It
transient.
was also about a journey. Like
Yeah.
when we started out, we were playing like 4 or 5 hour sets. It wasn't like let's just play 90 minutes and be done.
I'm
Were,
still doing the 5-hour sets.
and that's a journey. And like you start and you go somewhere and you
Yeah.
go somewhere else. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think coming back to that, we're just like, oh, right, this is what this is about. And this is the most, like, not the deepest, but this is definitely a more kind of, for people who, like, this is like a lifestyle. This is not like a trend. I mean, there's a lot of people get interested in dance music, when they're in college or when they're
Yeah.
partying, and it's just like a 2 or 3 year phase, and then they, get a job or whatever. And get
Yeah.
married, and then they're kind of like, oh, I used to go to that, but they're not really into it. But then there's people who are like, no, this is like my favorite kind of music.
Cool.
And they started when they were like 20 and they're like 40 now and they're still like,
Yeah.
this is my jam.
Do you
think-
guys ever ask the crowd who's there for the first time?
No.
Like, do you ever know?
No.
Because like Bonnie and Clyde was in here and they asked the crowd and they were saying that a lot of people are at their first Bonnie and Clyde show. And they were saying it's just interesting to kind of see the turnover of people, but also like a lot of people are being introduced to the music.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
What's interesting at our shows is you see such a huge variety of like age group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from younger to, I mean, I'd say
Definitely
from-
older, yeah.
Yeah, to older.
Yeah. It's a mix.
It's really awesome.
And people, I think, who kind of grown up with us. I mean, there's people who were into us like from like 2007, but a lot of people who maybe got introduced to us in the EDM era of like the Bruno Mars remix, and now are interested in melodic house because they're a little older and
Yeah.
it feels to them more and stuff like that. So that's cool. It's nice to kind of grow with your audience.
When you were working on Making Time, did you start with the lyric or start with the music?
It was the vocals.
She gave you a top line? Or
Yeah, she gave us a demo instrumental which had the top line and a bunch of instruments on
Okay.
it. And then it was a completely different vibe to what we felt emotionally would connect with the lyrics.
okay. Have you
So-
worked with her before?
No, it was the first time, but we will be working with her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. We've never been in the same room with her, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Where is she based out of?
London.
Yeah.
Julia Church. Man, London, some of the best vocalists are out of like what is in the water in the UK?
Yeah.
What is that?
They get it. Sure.
I get it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they really
So many vocalists that I love are from London.
They have a little bit more. Their pop music is a little bit more emotional. I find that. our
That's
pop
true.
music. Like if you think about like Adele and Amy Winehouse and all the stuff that comes out of the UK, it's like that's some heavy hitting stuff.
Yeah,
Here it's a little bit more
that's true.
something else.
Like watered down here.
yeah.
watered down, just maybe like
Well-
more kind of positive or like
Formulaic.
We have middle America,
yeah.
they don't have a middle America, right? Because it's so small and condensed, and the weather there. I just feel like
think the weather.
I think the experience is a little grittier.
I think the weather.
So I feel like that grittiness gets into the music. It's like it does. I mean, like even pop music. I love UK pop.
Yeah,
it's more interesting. It has more depth.
Yeah,
it's more sophisticated. And again, like they don't have that middle America that you have to make music for.
Do you think they think that about us?
What? That
ours is more sophisticated or cooler?
I'd be curious to ask.
Yeah, I should ask a British person what they think. I'm curious too. They definitely have also a different set of influences.
Okay.
I think in England, like electronic music has been around as part of their culture longer than it has been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, way longer.
It's part of their mainstream culture, I would say, not part of their culture. Part of their mainstream culture longer than it has been here. So you hear stuff there that you're like, nobody here would ever do that.
Yeah.
Like pop people doing tracks over drum and bass, which is like
so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Which is like a new thing, but like here, I don't know if people would just be like, I don't get it.
I don't get it.
But there, it's like, no, they get it because they've heard drum and bass like since they were kids.
When did you guys personally get into dance music? Like when did you actually, as a fan, as a listener?
97.
Yeah.
In Montreal.
Okay. Was that you were in school then?
I was in university, yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing rock. I mean, I was in a rock band throughout my entire university years.
No way.
Yeah. And then randomly got asked to go out to a rave in Montreal. And that was my first introduction.
What did you think?
I thought it was really cool. It was very different than what I had experienced before. And I got influenced by the people around me, so I just started going out to a few more of those shows.
Yeah. How about you, Ned?
I was a freshman in high school, and this senior kid put headphones on my head, and it was the Train Spotting soundtrack, and it was the Underworld track, Born Slippy, and I just remember being like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard anything. Like, never heard sounds like that.
What did you listen to before then? What kind of stuff?
Rock.
Hip-hop.
Yeah,
Trip-hop.
Rock and hip-hop. Like, New York, like, U2, Smashing Pumpkins,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre. I mean, I was pretty young. I was 14, so yeah, that was kind of what I was listening to. But I don't think I didn't, like, feel like it was what was around. And there was things that I was feeling, but, like, I didn't connect with something the way I connected with that.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my, then I was on a mission after that to, like, find, just, like, dive so deep into electronic stuff.
I remember when I first started learning how to produce music, I would be like, what are these sounds? Like, what's this thing? And then I had a mentor at the time, and he would be like, oh, those are stabs. I'm like, stabs? Okay. You know, and I'm like, well, what's this? It was so weird because it was like, there was nowhere to go that would tell you, these are called pads, and these are chords, and these are stabs, and these are side chaining. Like when I learned about side chaining, I'm like, why is it pulsing like that? Oh, that's side chaining, I had to learn a lot of that by like asking questions. Did you guys have a mentor? Anybody that you could?
I did.
Yeah.
An artist called Tone Depth.
Okay.
He was based in Montreal, and he kind of showed me the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to produce? Or?
How to produce? Yeah, but it was all back then. It was all analog. Like we didn't have any soft synths. It was all outboard gear. But he kind of taught me a lot of the basics, especially when it came down to mixing and production. I think we produced our first, probably for the first 6 years of us releasing music, we didn't even know what sidechain was or compression.
Oh my God, we
were just doing basic stuff, like no plugins, nothing.
How about your mixing? Like my first couple mixes were just totally out of the...
Osama's stuff has always sounded good. He knows how to mix.
Sounded good.
Yeah, you always had a good ear for mixing. That was actually my stuff. Like I think when we met, you always helped me mix my first records.
Yeah,
because they would sound cool, but then he'd be like, "No, you have too much of this shit going on." Like
I thought I knew what I was doing because I had, Tony was showing me what to do. So
yeah,
let me do this.
I didn't have any. I didn't have anything. But I think that was part of what was fun is that all the tricks that we have now, we discovered together.
Yeah.
So it's like so many little tiny things that are like things that I would be like, hey, check this out. If we do this, then da 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 da. And he'd be like, I found this new mastering plugin, and then that became, it's like different things.
And it just builds over the years.
Yeah, and we do some tricks that we've literally been doing for 15 years.
Oh yeah, some stuff from 2008 is still killing it today.
Yeah, we're like, that just works.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, you just over time start to kind of add into your little mental Rolodex, and like it's cool.
It becomes part of your sound.
It becomes part of our sound. But I think it's fun that we discovered most of that stuff together.
Yeah,
nice.
When internet was just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there certainly weren't YouTube tutorials.
We didn't have Splice then.
Didn't have Splice. Oh, we had sample packs. We had like physical.
Dude, we used to go like meet other DJs and just like have packs of CDs and be like, okay, I'm gonna burn this, and you can
drop it on your computer. Swap major sample pack swaps.
Yep.
Wow.
We also sampled off of records a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, we started off on vinyl.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Had the turntable plugged in, sampling kick drums.
remember CDJ 100s? That was like a new thing for us.
No way.
Yeah, and then we were sampling CDJ.
I started off on I think the 800s.
It's beautiful.
I was terrible too. Like I was train wrecking live because you have to learn on the spot. You have to learn on the job when you DJ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys go through that at all?
I mean, lot of vinyl learning.
Yeah.
If you can mix vinyl though, then
You can mix
You can do
anything.
anything.
Yeah. You sit there and ride it for hours and just like, it's like a workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're at the end of the show. So
I
we have to
hope
say goodbye.
I hope we gave you enough explanation of the song.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the song. We talked about the topic, but also wanted to get to know you guys and talk to you about your music. That was a goal of mine.
Great. This is super fun.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Loved having you guys on.
I feel like I want to solve your quandary about the song. Like,
Huh.
I called Julia.
yeah, maybe you should have Julia on here.
Yeah. I you know what it's going to take? It's going to take me meeting somebody new. I think I'm going to need to meet somebody new and then I won't care anymore. I think. I'll let you guys know.
Let us
To
know.
be
Let us
continued.
know.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Sounds good.
So everyone, check out Making Time by Sultan and Shepard and check out the new album Forever Now. And that's it. We'll see you next time on Life Rhythms. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.